Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Wild Knights podcast, regular season edition.
Thank God.
Regular season edition. This is, as always, a podcast hosted by a Knights fan.
And a very upset Wild fan.
Oh, you are upset. Covering all the weird, wacky, and wonderful. There's a lot of wonderful in Vegas land, a lot of wacky and weird in Minnesota land.
Not even
there?
weird, just really upsetting. Like, I'm upset, man. But we'll start with Vegas first.
And of course, there's a lot of news around the NHL. The regular season has started.
And is in full swing, apparently.
And it is, and I don't want to enter into the swear jar so early in the episode, but the regular season is already on its bullshit.
Yeah, it's fucking chaotic.
Are you ready? We've talked about this. It makes me very happy. Last year's Western Conference champions, the greatest team ever to play, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, have not won a game yet this year.
And they lost.
They lost 6-0 to Winnipeg on their home opener. And then the next time out at home, this was last night, they lost 5-2 to Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks.
Chicago making a splash this season.
I know. Honestly, though, the biggest splash of all is Utah. I think Utah is straight up like 3-0 to start their year.
That doesn't surprise me.
They are so good.
We all know that the Coyotes were mismanaged.
They got into a massive punch everybody in the face contest with the Rangers the other night. Like to the point where there was blood all over the ice. The game had to be stopped. People are probably going to get suspended.
Wow.
Yeah, there was some serious punch in the face contests.
Again, we all know that the Coyotes were so mismanaged.
Yeah.
So mismanaged.
Before we dive into the NHL stories for the day, we always say that we tackle the weird and wacky. The problem is we never really get to talk about the weird and wacky around the hockey world. However, I have our first entry into what I will have our season-long race for the weirdest and wackiest.
Okay, what's up?
NCAA college hockey got started last weekend. So this is the second weekend of the NCAA hockey season.
Okay.
You had big games. You had the UNLV. You had UNLV hockey beating Oregon 16-0 in their home opener.
Really?
I didn't know Oregon had a hockey team. And of course,
yeah, I didn't either.
And of course, you have your big matchups. The U of M plays St. Thomas in a week or two, and Providence played North Dakota.
They play right down the street.
And Penn State got into an interesting game the other night.
It
was nothing about the game that was interesting. It was more of what happened before the game.
What happened before the game? So,
obviously, Penn State's rink is on their campus. It's like right in the middle of the Penn State campus.
Well, it's Penn State, so of course it is.
So, one of the players, it's their first game, so they haven't stashed their locker room full yet.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously this player bought the new Bauer at-home skate sharpening system, which, by the way, I totally want. It's like $1,000, but it's really cool.
Just get a Sparks sharpener.
It's the Bauer version of the Spark sharpener.
Just get the original. It's better.
I think they cost the same.
Just get the Spark.
But anyway, so he gets to the rink. He's ready. He's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
He left his skates in his dorm. So his roommate had to run across campus. This is like 15 minutes to game time.
Oh, yeah. No,
runs across campus.
How do you not know you have your skate? How do you not know you don't have your skates until game time?
Aaron, back in the day when I played hockey, I showed up to a game without my glove.
Here we go. Yeah, but you were a kid.
Yeah, but it's my responsibility to pack my bag.
But my point is that this person gets dressed.
Yeah, it was before warm-ups, and it took the kid like 30 minutes to get across campus.
Well, yeah,
and back.
It's Penn State.
And so in that, the player missed all of warm-ups, and there's a video on Twitter of the roommate running down the stairs behind the Penn State bench and tossing $1,000 pair of Bauer skates over the glass and to the guy on the bench.
I can guarantee you now he'll never forget another
thing
again.
Never again. Never. What would his nickname be? He'd just be, I mean, baseball had Shoeless Joe, so would this guy be Skateless Joe?
No, that's just too, no.
No, it's too easy.
Well, I'm so baffled that you don't know that you don't have your skates. Because it's like the third thing you put on?
Because
it's,
shin pads.
Technically, socks and shin pads are the same in my book.
Cup, socks, shin pads, pants. It's the fifth thing you put on. Your skates are the fifth thing you put on.
Yeah, but my point is...
Yeah, no, I'm sure he noticed it quickly. The problem is Penn State's a big campus, and they had to go get skates. He had to run back and get them. Like, that's the underlying problem is, yeah, he shouldn't have left it out of his bag. Like, that's the point here, but...
Well, how do you sharpen your skates and then not put them back in your bag? How do you leave your dorm? How do you leave your dorm? No. How do you leave your dorm and not see your skates sitting on your fucking desk?
Listen.
How?
Listen. You weren't a student athlete. I was.
Yeah, but
we showed up to
I would leave sometimes my dorm room at like 7 a.m. and not be back until 8 p.m.
Dude, one of my golf teammates back in college, we had a qualifying day. He got all the way to the course 5 minutes before his qualifying time and realized he left his bag in the parking lot of the school, not in his dorm. He carried it all the way out to the parking lot, all the way to his car, and he left it there.
How do you forget your bag?
It is stressful balancing student and athlete. It's tough.
I'm not saying it's not, but goddamn.
Why do you think I'm so neurotic about checking my hockey bag all the time?
Anyway, we could literally sit here and talk about this because I just don't understand how people forget something so important.
It is a rule of I always like to scroll Twitter as we're getting started just to see if any breaking news is coming across, just like we do at the end. And that was the breaking news, was the video of the Penn State guy forgetting his skates.
Yeah, because that's totally breaking news.
It was funny, damn it. Okay, it was funny.
Golden Knights land time.
Things are going great. Things are going great.
Of course.
Everything is great except for Aiden Hill's glove side. That's all I have to say. I mean, 8-4 opening night win.
Yeah, congrats on that, by the way.
We had guys. At one point we had 4 players leading the NHL in points.
Oh my god!
I think we had 4-point players. The Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, Ivan Barbashev line is really, 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 really good.
Well, they're producing like they should.
I think Eichel's up to 6 points in 2 games now because he picked up another 2 points against the Blues 2 nights ago.
Boldy should have 6 points.
Oh, no. You're going to get your time. You're going to get your time. You're going to get your time. Don't worry.
I'm so salty.
I'm going to pre-sell this. I heard this rant for about an hour and a half last night, and I'm so excited to hear it again.
Listen.
No, listen. Save it.
Listen.
Save it.
It's not as bad as you think.
No, it's worse.
No, it's not. Considering that... Side note, but while you talk about your precious Knights real quick.
Ouch.
What?
No, you're right.
Side note real quick, though. Let's see. I forgot.
You forgot?
It just went in one. This went poof.
It just went in one ear, out the other?
Oh, no, this is what I was going to say. Listen, the last wild Facebook post that they posted, there's tons of comments bashing Fleury, basically saying we need a new goalie.
No.
The last night's game was not his fault.
No. We'll get there.
I know.
We'll get there. To bring it back to where we were kicking off here.
Over here still.
Yeah, I can tell. No, things off to a great start. 8-4 opening night win, 4-3 win over St. Louis. Have trailed in both games, though. Given up the first goal in both games.
Yeah, but you guys responded in like 2 minutes.
Every single goal this season we've given up, except for one, has been responded back within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Efficiency. It's real stressful, by the way. But what I will say is I think Eichel is tired of being compared to, McDavid. So, I mean, they were drafted 1 and 2 back-to-back back in 2015. But, Eichel's got one more Stanley Cup than McDavid does. So, and McDavid may get a big part of the Netflix documentary, which I need to watch, by the way.
We both need to watch that.
Here's the thing. I'm going to watch it exclusively to do what any self-respecting fan of a Pacific Division team would do. And just make fun of the Oilers. Because McDavid's just a crybaby. He's a wimp, and nobody likes him.
I mean, the other thing is, too, is that are the Oilers really that good if they've lost their first 2 games? Granted.
They did last year, too.
You can't really define a team based on what they do the first 2 games of the season.
Well, I mean, last year...
Just like the Golden Knights.
That's true. I cannot define the entire season based on the first 2 games. Now,
God, no.
Convincing win tonight over the Ducks, and then going well on the Eastern road trip, which is probably not going to go well.
How did the Ducks and Sharks game go yesterday, by the way?
I don't know. Hold on. Let me look. Because
I got you.
You can talk about rigging all you want. We've played after tonight, we will have played 3 games this year. 2 of those will have been against opponents on the back end of a back-to-back.
Ducks beat the Sharks yesterday 2-0.
Okay, cool. Whatever.
They opened yesterday with a win against the Sharks.
Whatever. I don't know. No, like the biggest controversy. Actually, there are 2 interesting storylines that I want to explore in Vegas because there's not really a lot to talk about other than Aiden Hill's lacking of a glove hand because he's given up 7 goals, all 7 of which have been by the glove.
Well, and he's been lunging a lot, hasn't he?
It's weird. It's weird, and I think he's going to fix it. And I think Samsonov's in net tonight, which I've got mixed feelings about. But we're going to see how that goes. Now, the number one thing I want to talk about is actually the 2 things I want to talk about is the frequent flyer miles of one Raphael Lavoie. Now, you've heard me talk about this a couple of times.
Yes.
Also known as the Great Ping Pong Match of October 2024. So, I think it was 2 episodes ago on the podcast, I talked about how the Knights did a good thing by claiming one of the Oilers' top prospects off of waivers when they were trying to send him down to the AHL. And so, pretty much as soon as we wrapped recording of that episode, I think it was 2 episodes ago, I opened Twitter, and of course, it says we put him on waivers, and he was reclaimed by Edmonton. So, here's the timeline of events.
Yes.
October 6th, Raphael Lavoie placed on waivers by Edmonton. October 7th, claimed by Vegas.
Okay.
October 8th, placed on waivers by Vegas. October 9th, claimed off waivers by Edmonton. October 10th, placed on waivers by Edmonton. October 11th, claimed by Vegas. And that's it. We won the game of ping pong.
Okay, so my question...
Suck it.
How many times can a player go back and forth?
As many times as it takes.
So
in theory, this could have gone on forever.
Did Edmonton just go, fine?
It is unclear what happened.
Or if Edmonton was like, I'm just going to do this. And they're like, nope, you're not.
There are many theories about it, like stuffing the box of putting every team putting in a bunch of claims all at once, or saying that they were going to claim somebody and then not claiming them. There are a bunch of conspiracy theories by all the writers on Twitter, but my guess is they may have just gotten tired of filing paperwork with the league because that just gets exhausting.
That's fair.
That must be just absolutely exhausting.
That is absolutely fair.
But like that's a lot of I mean, I'm sure he never left. But that's just crazy. That's a lot of frequent flyer miles if he did.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the other thing I want to talk about is our other waiver claim in this thing, because we claimed 2 people off waivers the same day. The other one was Cole Schwint.
Who?
Somebody you've probably never heard of. He's played 7 total.
Well, that's why I asked who.
He's played 7 total career games, I think, split across Calgary and another team. We claimed him from Calgary. He gets to Vegas. All of his stuff is still in his apartment in Calgary. He had family pack it up and drive it the 20 hours to Vegas.
Oh, my God.
Just in time to catch his Golden Knights debut.
That's fun.
The other night against the St. Louis Blues.
That's fun.
And they were rewarded by him getting his first career point.
I was like,
in that
didn't
game.
he get a point?
He got an assist on what I thought was going to be Shea Theodore's game-winning goal, the 3rd goal of the game. But, Vegas defense going to Vegas defense, and ultimately the final score was, in fact, 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets his first career point, which is awesome. Gives Theodore a lot of credit for that point. The reason I bring him up, aside from the fact that it's a cool story of somebody getting their first NHL point, is the person he replaced in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not very well kept secret that the reason that we have some weird roster combos is because William Karlsson is still on IR. The earliest he can come back is the road trip starting in Washington. I think maybe he can come in on Washington because that game's on Tuesday. Yeah, I think he can come back on Tuesday because when you're on IR, you have to be out for a week. It's a week
safe
or
to say
3 games.
so safe to say he's either out until Wednesday or...
It's going to be day to day. It's something that's been nagging him since training camp, but it's not something that we've been told to worry about yet. The thing that I find interesting, opening night, that slot was filled by Brendan Brisson.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon, and I'm talking like the second that Schwint showed up in Vegas after getting his affairs in order from Calgary, he's in the lineup. Brisson isn't. Brisson is like our number one prospect on the forward side of the puck. He is like the best offensive guy we have in the system. And he's been in and out of the NHL for about 2.5 years. So here comes this Schwint guy, has a cup of coffee in the locker room, and he gets a start. So I don't understand where that's coming from, personally. I think that's kind of a weird, just a weird thing to have happen. Like, how would you feel if, like, let's put this in the Minnesota context. Jesper Wallstedt. He's your number one goalie prospect.
Yeah.
It's very clear that he's going to be the next backup goalie for sure when Fleury retires. How do you imagine now you guys claim some random goalie off of waivers and that's the new backup?
Feels weird, man.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Because, like, Brisson is this guy. I've been saying he's going to crack the lineup for like 2 years now. And it just hasn't happened. Now, I guess the rationale is that Schwint is more of a 200-foot player with less offensive upside and more defensive upside, and he's playing fourth-line minutes. And Brisson is more of a high-end forward, like offensive upside, not so great, 200 feet. He's more of a 100-foot player, offensive zone kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I know Bruce Cassidy has a thing or seven against one-dimensional players, but at the same time, I am very confused by this, and so I wonder what your take is on it, having absolutely no skin in the game and absolutely no context.
About which part in particular? Because you just spewed a lot of information at
basically, putting your top forward prospect in the press box over in place of a guy who's had a cup of coffee in the team.
Honestly, I think he was trying him out.
I think so too, but I'm curious.
Because he basically got to Vegas.
Yep.
And we all know that they do have some practices during the year.
He was in for one practice. It was It was the morning skate.
That's my point, though. We do have practices. We do have games. But what better way to test chemistry than just throwing him in a game that you have some confidence that you're going to win?
Right.
Because worst case scenario, you can call the person in the press box and be like, you're suiting up at the last minute.
Yeah.
Like, you can do that. I also think that we've kind of talked about this a little bit during the off season, was that the Knights don't have a lot of young players. At least they didn't before this year. And so I wonder if they're trying to figure out pieces so that they can start building a future core.
Yeah, like and
I wonder if that's what they were doing with this intent.
Now, let me set the record straight. I'm not in any way complaining about this decision.
Oh, I know you're
not. It
not.
didn't cost anything.
I know you're not.
Because like one player on the fourth line or the third line isn't going to make that tangible of a difference.
No, I know you're not doing that.
I'm just more curious because I figured that Brisson was going to always and forever be the first choice. Because he can go up and down from the AHL to the NHL without having to like clear waivers. And I just figured that, especially, I don't know.
Yeah, but he's your first choice. So then who's your second?
Jonas Romberg.
Who's your third?
Grigory Denisenko.
Who's your fourth?
Oh, God. Who's the center?
But that's my point.
Mason Morelli. Morelli.
You can't have too much depth, especially when you guys are so prone to injury.
Yeah, we are so prone to injury.
You cannot have too much depth.
This isn't a complaint on my part. This is more of a high-end question about what we're doing.
Okay, well then you're just curious what the actual...
Yeah, like I'm just curious about the rationality behind it. Like that's my thing.
Okay, that's fair.
But like that's really all. Beyond that, and beyond the fact that Hill's made 2 starts and given up 7 goals and he has a save percentage below 900, like that's really my only question mark right now with this team is what are we doing save percentage wise? Because like Hill was on track last year to be a Vezina finalist. He had a save percentage above 930 through the first 10 games of the year. And at the pace he's on, and especially if Samsonov plays tonight and like pitches a shutout or something. Now I got to definitely knock on wood for that one because I said it. Hold on. There we go. Like, I'm confused and concerned about his inability to make the big save right now.
Samsonov or Hill?
Hill, because I haven't seen Samsonov yet.
I mean, you did see Samsonov
In the preseason. That's a different animal.
Different
animal altogether. I don't know. I heard that, by the way. I just heard.
No, that was a slight gasp.
Yeah, that was real. No. That was real attractive.
I know it was.
Oh my god. What? What?
Sorry, I just
You're making a face. Oh my god, fantasy football.
I'm up 105 to 52.
Oh wow. Okay. Well,
I projected to win by like 30
We'll come back. We'll come back to that. Fantasy football has become a major problem amongst not only the members of this podcast, but the members of our group of friends and study group up here.
Entirely.
It is. This has become entirely. We had to call. Quick sidetrack. We had to call an emergency meeting because somebody decided to drop AJ Brown and then turn his phone off for 24 hours.
God, I was so upset.
So that was fun. Talk about wacky. But no, like I think that kind of wraps up everything I have to say about the Knights right now because like there's nothing really to talk about.
Yeah, by the way, the reason why I'm so high, Godwin got 40 points.
Jesus.
And right as of now, the game's not even over. We're in the third quarter, baby.
Oh, wow. Well, that's the only thing you have to feel positive about right now because your Minnesota Wild got themselves into a little bit of a knockdown dragout last night with the Kraken.
Bro,
didn't they?
Fuck the Kraken. Fuck the refs. Actually, fuck the fucking refs.
A little bit of context. The only reason that this is really funny is because we were there for this one too. We were in the building, and this game got out of hand quickly.
Let me set the scene for you guys.
Please do.
But let's first go back to opening night because we were also there for opening night.
Okay.
2 games in 3 days. That was a lot of fun.
Actually, I'd like to cast your mind back to even before opening night.
Which is what? The green carpet?
No, I think it was last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you say something about the Seattle Kraken not being a very good team?
No. And I'm going to get there.
Okay.
Because you're not going out of order with this. Because once I start on Seattle, I'm not going to stop.
All right, go.
Okay. Now you make me want to talk about Seattle. Damn you. Okay, so going back.
Take your order. You have your note cards.
No, I'm not even looking at them yet because that's all the things I want to bring up.
All right.
I have notes today, guys. It's bad. So get to River Center next to Xcel Energy Center on Thursday. Was there for the green carpet. Kind of a lackluster event. It was fun. It was cool. But it just felt kind of short and it felt kind of... It was really fun to see all the players. Let's put it this way. It was fun to see the players. It was fun to kind of interact with some of them. But it just seemed really short and kind of like hurried.
Yeah. I mean, I was there too. Having experienced the gold carpet in Vegas last year, I was like, this is not a big... Having it in the event center at the River Center Conference Hall,
wasn't big enough.
It was nowhere near big enough. Like, I get it, the Let's Play Hockey Expo, like, takes up the whole thing. But, like, no. That was not big. There was, like, 4,000 people down there.
Between 2 and 3.
It was just not big enough.
No.
The only good part about it was the light-up towels.
Oh, no, yeah. That was sweet. So, we get light-up towels.
Which was cool.
What was the score the other night? I don't remember
3-2.
now. Okay, yeah. So we won 3-2 against the Blue Jackets. They had a really nice tribute to Johnny and Matthew.
It was good.
Yeah, had a moment of silence. You could hear a pin drop in that stadium. Holy crap.
I've never heard a silence so loud in my life.
Yeah. And, that game went... I'm still slightly upset with that game, but I get it. Officials didn't want to call actual penalties against the Blue Jackets. Must be a theme going on.
Here we go.
No, must be a theme going on. No, I think the Blue Jackets had a lot of fire, but I think that the Wild were scrappy enough to pull it out. I think that they didn't play super well, but I think that the Blue Jackets were physical, almost borderline to the point of being a little bit on the cheap side.
Yep. Maybe.
So
I don't know. Matt Boldy, though, got your season started, scored the first goal of the year.
Woohoo.
And that is the last nice thing that any of us have to say about Matt Boldy for this episode.
Hey, don't come at Boldy.
What, you want to come at him?
No, Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Our showing against Seattle, we actually moved the puck very well. Yes, Boldy had some whiffs, or 4.
He had a whiff, or 7. Yeah.
4. I mean, Kaprizov also had we whiffed it a lot last night.
Kirill, the thrill.
But okay, let me preface this because you have now opened up the can of worms that was last episode. So last episode, I had mentioned something about the Kraken and how they're boring.
Yeah.
They brought it last night, but they can't win a game standing on their own 2 feet.
Well,
here's why. Because technically they did win. But when
I don't think it's technically, they just won.
I'm going to throw something at you if you don't let me finish.
Facial expressions don't work on an audio-only format.
Yeah, but my silence is deafening.
No, it's not.
Anyway. Stop interrupting me.
Okay.
Because you're like, oh, I can't wait for your rant, and you keep interrupting
my
rant.
Then rant. You're like the original Star Trek movie. It's just all establishing shots, and then nothing happens.
Well, we have to talk about the game before the fucking shit show.
Then
that was
talk
last night.
about it.
I'm getting there.
Get there, then.
Oh my god.
Ah.
You're cutting this out.
Okay.
For fuck's sake. No, because now you made me lose my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
God, stop getting on me. I was trying to get there.
Then get there.
Fuck.
Go. You got this.
Need to recenter myself.
Okay. I'm going to fill some time.
No, you're not. We're just cutting this part.
I'm going to fill some time while you recenter and get mad about the Wild.
So here's the thing that happened last night.
And we're back.
Seattle came out swinging.
Yes.
But they still can't win a game on their own 2 feet. And here's why.
Why?
So
the note cards are out.
Yes, the note cards are out.
The first note card has been drawn, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, there's also...
They're double-sided note cards.
So some of them are. They're not very detailed. So I was looking last night, just trying to calm down. I actually had some work that I had to do when I came back from the game.
Yep.
And, you type in Wild, and all the headlines are like, oh, Wild blows the lead. Wild did this. Wild did that. Wild can't hold a lead. Shut the fuck up. Do you realize what happened in the game last night?
They didn't hold on to a lead.
Even what I said last episode still fucking applies to the Kraken because you're not contender when the refs help you out so much to the point where they don't make calls on... They basically let things slide on your behalf and then you win the game. No. Literally. There's a Wild post that was a final score 16 hours ago. There's still comments from the last 4 hours basically saying those refs were shit. What the fuck?
It was a rough game.
And... Score North on Twitter said it best. The damage was already done when the tripping call on Brodin happened, where Brodin literally got basically boarded, and then he tripped the guy and they called trip on him.
A++ acting job on Tanev by that one. By the way, he did a real good job faking getting kicked in the face.
You mean by the person that you took down? Because if you take someone down and they kick you, that's not your
He
fault.
did a great job skating right into his knee.
That's not their fault.
It is a penalty, but the problem is what happened about 12 seconds before that.
But then also the other things that I want to say about the whole tripping thing and the whole elbowing thing. Let's go to the elbow actually.
Which happened immediately before the trip.
Yeah. Eck got elbowed to the face and it should have been called an elbow. And people online are like, well, that was just incidental contact. No, it's not. An elbow is still an elbow.
Pretty sure goalie interference is called incidental contact.
Goalie interference, if you trip someone and you didn't mean to trip them, that's still a trip. If you elbow someone to the face and you didn't mean to, that's still an elbow.
Yes.
Don't act like it's not. And if you're saying, oh, well, it's not an elbow because he didn't mean it. Who gives a shit? Do you think if I throw out my hand and I accidentally whack someone in the face with my stick and it's called for high sticking? Do you think that was accidental? Do you think I'm still going to the box?
Accidentally on purpose, but yes.
Yes. That's my point, though. So doesn't matter if it was an accident. Doesn't matter if it was on purpose. A penalty's a fucking penalty.
Yes, penalty is penalty.
So at that point, elbow to the face for Eck. He came back out in a bubble.
For a shift.
And his bleeding continued to happen, and then he was out the rest of the game. That should have at least been a penalty. Probably should have been a major.
But it wasn't, and it wasn't.
No, and I don't know if he's going to get suspended for that.
We'll find out.
I really hope he does, because that is some bullshit.
I haven't seen anything from the Office of Player Safety. I've been checking, because things have to be done within 24 hours of the game going final.
Oh, no, he's not getting
so
any.
Well, the thing is, the Office of Player Safety doesn't do anything unless it's a hit on a superstar. And this is, I believe it was Adam Larson on Joel Eriksson Ek.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nobody, no offense, getting hit by nobody.
Yeah, but the thing is that it shouldn't take a superstar to keep our game safe.
No. But bear with me, if you will. Imagine if that was Bedard.
Yeah, the
Imagine
whole world
if it
would have
was
gone
McDavid.
apeshit. Oh, the whole world would have gone apeshit.
Yeah. Imagine if it was anybody on the Oilers, anybody on the Rangers, anybody on the Blackhawks, honestly, anybody on Vegas, let's be honest here. I don't know. It should be a suspension.
But the thing is
he should be getting suspended.
And then the worst thing about the whole trip on Brodin is that he was called for a trip.
Which
and then they subsequently scored on.
They did.
Which brought the game, 2-2?
2-2 at the time, yeah.
Like, I understand Fleury was not on his game last night, but you cannot, people that are blaming this on Fleury, you cannot blame this on Fleury.
He played fine.
He didn't play superstar fantastic.
He played fine.
But there's no way. There's no way. And I understand how this might sound if you don't know anything about this game. Okay? Because hockey peeps, we're famous for blaming the refs when the game doesn't go our way. We are famous for it. But this is one time where I'm like, the refs not calling two blatant penalties, calling penalties on the Wild. There was one where Bogosian, granted, held a player, and then that player basically got slammed into Fleury. But Bogosian didn't really push him.
No, he didn't.
And so at that point, you take Bogosian, but not the person that ran into the goalie. It's one of those things where, and I'm quoting you on this, that they probably should have taken them both or none of them. And on top of that, on my little rant now,
I don't care. Hell did the Star Tribune post? Have you seen the Star Trib's headline about this?
No, what did they post?
Minnesota Wild players accept their fate and an official's apology after loss to Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, no, the officials apologized after Brodin.
Ryan Hartman, quote, "It's not like you can go back in time and change stuff. Nobody's going to feel sorry for us getting a bad call." I wasn't aware that the officials apologized.
Yeah. Well, at least they did for the Brodin tripping thing, being like, hey, that's my bad.
They did blow 3 leads, though.
Yeah, but granted, one of them re-energized the Kraken after they were on a power play because of a call that was totally fucked up. Can you blame them for losing a game when they lose one of their players due to an elbow that wasn't called, and then they get called for another penalty right after that?
Yep.
We do end up in the box, and then they score on it, and that changes the entire game.
Did you read the apology?
No.
The quote was, "I'm sorry, I saw the wrong stick."
I don't give a shit.
That's the rationale.
You need better glasses then, or you need an extra ref or something. I don't give a shit.
Brodin, to his own credit, said, "It's okay, mistakes happen. They just scored this time."
Yeah, but that makes a difference.
It does.
I get it. Like the Wild players cannot be upset about this because at the end of the day, you have to put this behind you and move forward. Right.
Also, they shouldn't have blown 3 leads throughout the game.
Yeah, but the other point that I'm trying to make, and I hate when you bring stuff up like this, is that 2 things like that happen back to back in the matter of like 2 minutes, and not even 2 minutes, like a minute in the game.
Yep.
It's hard to come back from that because the refs just totally changed the pace. They changed the energy. They changed a lot with those calls to the point where I have never heard XL Energy Center boo that much. For fuck's sake.
There was some serious boos coming out last night. I have
never heard us boo. Like, it is few and far between when it happens. When the refs come out third period and they're booing at you.
Yep.
Bro, you need to check. You need to check what the fuck you're doing then.
Yeah. Is it sad that I totally forgot in the shuffle of last night's game that Boldy actually did score?
Oh, no, he did.
Yeah, it was at one point 2-0 Minnesota.
No, I know.
Oh, my God.
And then don't even talk about
The overtime where he missed a wide open net, or the shootout where with the game on his stick, he airmailed the net.
Yeah. I mean, people are also saying about the kicked in goal, but I'm not entirely sure if it was kicked in.
Oh, no. Okay.
Because here's the thing. Someone said it went off their leg, but does it really matter if it goes off their leg or their skate?
I have no skin in the game, and I am absolutely dumbfounded that they didn't challenge this goal.
I am too, but someone said that from a different angle, it was an actual goal. But again, Brodin's not in the box. Eck.
It doesn't.
You call the elbow on Eck. Brodin doesn't go to the box. It's a completely different game.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. Now, it is impossible to say that even if the game had been called 100% correct, the Wild still would have won.
Yeah, but the thing is that you could also say that the Kraken would have not won too. Like the thing, again, we don't know what would have happened if because I'm not expecting the officials to be perfect. I'm not expecting the players to be perfect. Things happen, things make mistakes. But to the point of where you make two really bad back-to-back mistakes.
Correct.
It's hard to say that doesn't change the game.
No, it definitely changed the game in a certain capacity. I have no idea to the effect that it changed the game, but it definitely had a lasting impact, and Eck isn't probably going to, because I think the Wild play tonight on the back end of a back-to-back.
I don't think he's not going to play tonight. He's not supposed to play tonight.
And it wouldn't shock me if he misses at least 2, maybe 3 games with us.
And the thing is that that's really unfortunate when a player gets that injured to the point where you can tell me all you want that it was accidental, and
all penalties are accidental.
But at the same time, when you're up against the boards like that, you know someone's coming towards you.
Yeah.
You're fairly certain, especially when you're getting the puck. So you're telling me that you had no idea that someone was going to come up behind you to the point where you elbowed him in the face.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm still not over that. Because again, and people can keep saying, yeah, well, what's fair is fair. Refs are supposed to call even penalties or not. They're supposed to call penalties that are penalties.
The game was, at the end of it, as much as you disagree with my analysis, the amount of penalties called in the game were even at the end of it.
I don't care.
Each team got 2 power plays.
I don't care.
I know you don't.
I don't care. I think that notion is stupid. Because refs are there to keep the game fair and keep the game safe. And when they don't do that, shit hits the fan. I mean, how many people laid on hits last night?
A lot. It was awesome.
After the whole ref Brodin Eck thing. How many people laid on hits?
Right.
And at that point, when you see that many hits happening, yeah, fantastic. Your player is hitting people. Great. They're enforcing. Whatever. They're responding. However you want to interpret it. But at the same time, it's the ref's job to keep the game safe and in control.
Right.
And when they don't do that, things like this happen out of control. Same thing during the Columbus game. They let that game get out of control. Or at least it was tending that way.
Right.
So really, what does that say about NHL refs? And what does that say about how they need to do something different in the future? And I hope to God that these refs take what they learned last night and apply it.
Well,
you're going to say something that's going to make me very upset, I can tell.
You know me too well. Yeah, I am. You may get to play the victim complex all you want with your ref stuff, but at least this happened in the regular season.
I'm not saying that. Here's the thing. I'm not trying to be like, our team was victimized, blah, 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 blah.
You were last night. You were on the warpath last night, and it was hilarious.
Can you let me defend myself?
You can talk over me.
We've already talked about this. I hate talking over people, especially when we have mics.
You're allowed to talk over me.
Yeah, and I hate that.
Go.
So you're using it to your advantage. Anyways, just talk what you were going to say.
No, I was done.
Okay. Because at the end of the day, yeah, we lost that game. And it sucks because why we lost is not because we lost to a better team. And I said this last night, if our team had played like shit, I'd be upset. But I'd be upset at the players. And I would understand.
Right.
That's not what happened. And I don't care if you think that I am overdoing it, or I don't care if you feel like that the Wild... I don't care about any of that. I don't care about how you feel about how I feel about it. Because at the end of the day, I get upset when the refs miss things. I mean, there probably should have been an extra call or two in the wild. Believe me.
Potentially.
But the thing that I will say about it, though, is that we shouldn't have had more than 3 penalties last night. We had 2, and we got away with it because I don't think the refs were afraid to call anything, I think, after a certain point.
Well, the thing about it is refs are hesitant to influence the game directly, which is it's why you almost never see calls in the last 10 minutes of a tie game. It's also why you almost never see power plays for a team that's leading by 2 goals or more.
Yeah, but if you do something that is an inherent penalty, you should be penalized for it.
Yes. I'm not disagreeing with that.
But what you're saying is the refs are trying to make it a fair game, but when someone is blatantly making it an unfair game,
yeah,
then what do you do? Because again,
deal with it.
No, because then the refs just keep we see it all the time. We see refs not call things, and the notion that refs, when they call things, make the outcome of the game different. It's no different than them not calling something, making the outcome of the game different.
True.
So I don't buy this bullshit argument, and frankly, I find it to be a bullshit argument that the refs are there to basically make things even and to not call anything that would make the game go one way or another, because they should be inherently unbiased and they should be enforcing rules. They should not be sitting here being like, oh, well, I think this team deserves more time, so I'm not going to call it on them.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on. You've used the word bias too many times here. I got to call you out on your indiscriminate use of the word bias here. I'm
not saying that the refs last night were biased, but I think that it's inherent that if a ref is reffing a game,
yeah,
granted, they might have some bias, they might not. Okay. But at the end of the day, they need to call things fairly. Whether that be, and I'm not talking about equally, because equally does not matter. If your team is going out there and they elbow people to the face, they need to knee people intentionally, they need to get called on that then.
Right. But where is the quote unquote bias you keep referencing? Like, let's take last night. Like, I'm not
saying bias towards a team. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm
situational bias?
Let's go with that, because if you're biased towards not calling things, you're inherently changing the game.
Yes, because a non-call that should have been a call is equally as detrimental as a call that shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
So I understand that argument, especially in relation to the elbow on Eriksen Ek immediately leading to the missed call on the trip on Brodin.
And at this point, I'm not even talking about last night, because last night is what it was.
Yeah, and you guys got a point.
Here's the thing. I can't go back and change it.
No.
I personally can't do anything to change the situation. No. That is what it is. I can call a spade, though.
You guys also did get a point out of the game.
And I can also talk about the greater effect of when refs decide not to call things because they think it will be more fair.
Right.
Is not a fucking notion that I subscribe to at all.
No, it is not. No, it's not.
I don't care what team you play on. If the refs are being stupid, and for me, here's the other thing. For me, when I'm watching a game, I shouldn't be wondering, oh, is someone going to get hurt?
Right.
That takes the fun immediately out of it for me. I don't care what level of play you're at. I don't care if we're in the NHL. I don't.
Right.
I care about whether the players on the ice are playing the game and whether the refs are making sure that it is as fair as possible. Not equal, fair. Fair and safe. Those are the two things that I think officials should do.
Right.
And every time I go to a game like this, I wonder, wow, you get paid how much and are on TV to officiate games. You should be able to have the balls to call things that you need to call.
Maybe they just didn't see it. Maybe they didn't see it. You can only call what you can see.
And that's fine.
But
at some point, if you can see interference when it's not even near the play, you can see an elbow to the face when the puck's blatantly right in front of your face.
That's fair. Or when, the goalie very clearly has the puck under his glove.
And they don't call, and they don't whistle.
And they don't blow the whistle with 3 minutes to go in regulation.
Yeah. Don't let the other team dig. I think that's disrespectful as fuck.
You're really going to have a tough time whenever you play your first game.
Oh, I know.
Net
I
and
know.
somebody digs at a loose puck,
Oh, I know.
I want to be there because I'm half expecting you to go full Jordan Binnington and just absolutely just pummel the other person for no reason, but just because you were personally offended by the diggy hole kind of action.
The thing. If you're digging and the whistle hasn't blown yet, okay.
The whistle hadn't blown yet last night.
Yeah, but that's on the ref. That's not on the players.
I need to keep remembering that you were already 9/10 of the way down the warpath last night when that happened. So,
but you also had to admit that Fleury was right on top of the puck, and they did not blow the whistle. And you admitted that last night.
Yes, and I also was confused, but we only have the angle of behind the net in section 37.
It was he had it underneath his pad. He had possession of it.
Yes, probably.
He had possession.
I don't know.
I saw it go underneath his pad.
The only view we had of that whole play was Fleury's back.
Yeah, but you could also see the players going, "What the fuck?"
True.
So are you gonna believe what you can't see, or are you gonna believe the players' reactions over the
I
ref?
still agree that they probably should have blown the whistle earlier. I'm just admitting that we were limited by our perception or from our perspective.
No, and that's why I didn't even talk about the goal that was allegedly kicked in, because it was a goal. It was a goal, and I will concede that point that maybe it wasn't kicked in, maybe we were just at a wrong angle.
Or the shootout goal that you didn't think went in because it was in and out of the net so fast.
The only way that could have happened is if it hit the post, you said, that way and go that way. But I still don't accept that.
It hit the back post and then
it doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
We weren't going to win that shootout.
No.
And I told you in the third period, I said, if this game goes to overtime, we are not winning this.
No.
And I said that.
No. A little bit of trivia. We did this last night in the arena, but I'm going to put this out to
we're switching
our
topics
listeners
to something more lighthearted.
It's about shootouts because you asked me what Fleury's record is in the shootout, and in my little knowledge, it's okay. Obviously, it wasn't great last night. He gave up 2 goals on 2 shots.
Again, Fleury's not the reason we lost this game.
No. But it did prompt the interesting conversation, a question that I knew the answer to when you posed it to me the other night. Mm-hmm. Who is the worst goalie in NHL history in the shootout?
And you're like, I think I know this.
No, I did know it. I just got confirmation first. And for reference, the shootout is a relatively new invention. It's only been around for about 30 years. Mm-hmm. And because before that, games used to end in ties. Like there used to be a tie back in the day.
Yeah.
So let's think. All the goalies that have ever played in the shootout. There are some really good shootout goalies. Andrei Vasilevsky, Tuukka Rask, Henrik Lundqvist, Roberto Luongo, even Marc-Andre Fleury in a past life. Mm-hmm. Some of the best shootout goalies of all time. Couple that with some of the worst shootout goalies all time. I think it's minimum 10 shootouts. Minimum 10 shootouts participated in.
Because less than 10, it's an outlier. Yeah, it's inconsistent.
Yeah, you need a statistically significant sample size. Mm-hmm. The worst goalie in the shootout in NHL history
was the Golden Knights.
It was a Golden Knights goalie, Robin Lehner. Worst save percentage in the shootout in NHL history, less than .550. He makes a save just barely more than half the time in the shootout. I believe because I'm going to assume he's retired. I'm going to assume he's never going to play in the NHL again after everything that's going on behind the scenes. He will finish his career with a less than 23% win rate in the shootout for his career.
Wow.
He's also been in almost the most shootouts in NHL history. Mm-hmm. And he just sucks at the shootout.
Great goalie.
The Panda was not very good at shootouts. He was a great goalie, statistically really good. Really bad hips, really bad knees, really bad finance.
You mean like Fleury has really bad hips?
Shut up. No, but Robin Lehner is the worst goalie in the shootout in NHL history. Mm-hmm. Now, we have goalies trying to come for that, like Scott Wedgwood, but he hasn't played enough yet. He's the backup now, so I don't think he's ever going to play enough.
Yeah.
But no, that's just a little bit of trivia that I always like to come to every time there's a shootout that I'm watching.
Yeah. Also, for those of you listening this far, don't come at me, please, for being delusional about the Wild. I don't need it.
About the Wild.
I'm not. here's my thing is that through everything from last night and today that I've said on this podcast, the thing that I stand for most, outside of being like a really big fan of the Wild and wanting teams to do well and all this other stuff, is that player safety and making sure the game is as fair as it can be are some things that I am very much for in the sport, because hockey is a game and is actually sometimes very dangerous to play a game.
Correct.
So the refs should be doing their jobs. And that's the last thing I'll say about the whole ref situation from last night.
Fair enough.
So, but the other thing that I want to talk about, and maybe I'll invite our listeners to do this as well,
is
every time you go to a hockey game,
boo the refs.
No,
boo the refs.
No, don't boo the refs. Don't boo the refs.
Okay.
Don't pull an Anaheim Ducks
boo
in Honda Center.
Yeah,
like
fair.
every time the refs come out, they were booing the time that we were there.
True.
Last night and the game before, we played a game.
Oh, yes.
You want to tell our listeners about
I am
the game?
a huge fan of this game. We started doing it
game.
last year. We started doing it like February, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was February of last year.
Yeah.
You can play this in whatever stadium you go to.
I love it.
Especially if you know your team and your team's history really well. I do this whenever I'm in T-Mobile Arena from time to time. The problem is it's only 8 years of history.
I think both of us have done it.
We've done it at every game, whether it be consciously or unconsciously.
And I think both of us did this before we did it together.
Walking around, look at people's jerseys and try and find the most obscure jersey that isn't custom. Most obscure player jersey. And I don't know. Do I want to say send it to us on Twitter? Because I think we're active on Twitter now.
We will be after next episode.
So next episode, we will give you guys our Twitter and find the most obscure player jerseys. We'll happily give you ours. Last night, XL Energy Center, the most obscure jersey we saw was a Minnesota Wild green Jason Pominville jersey. That's a new one. I hadn't seen that one.
I also saw like the original jerseys.
Yeah.
And what was it, Hall and Roy?
Yeah, and then of course we had the Bugard jersey, which was good. But we've seen that one too many times.
I see Bugard.
Yep.
At least once every other time I go to XL, if not at least twice. Every time I'm there.
Yep.
It seems like, or at least every other time I see a Bugard shirt.
No, for me, like I haven't been to any Knights games this year, but I have a feeling I know what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. The most obscure one is either going to be a Cody Glass jersey or a James Neal jersey, because those two people haven't played for us in ages.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say it's an Eric Holla jersey, but he's at least still kicking around in the league.
You know what?
He doesn't count.
Jason Pominville's still kicking too.
Where?
I think he's in Buffalo.
No. There's no way that Pominville is still in the league.
Yeah, he.
I gotta look this up.
No, he played for it. One sec.
Yeah, let's see. He's 41 years old. All right, let's check his hockey DB. Where is he right now? He is retired.
He is retired. Never mind. It said is.
Yeah.
And didn't say was. So my apologies.
No, you're good. You're good.
But he did retire like 3 years ago. I think he retired after the 2019 season.
This is weird. Oh, lockout. Duh. I'm looking at his hockey DB page.
Yeah.
And it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo Sabres, Buffalo Sabres, Buffalo Sabres, Buffalo Sabres, Buffalo Sabres, Buffalo Sabres, Mannheim Eagles, Buffalo Sabres, Minnesota Wild, Minnesota Wild, Minnesota Wild, Minnesota Wild, Minnesota Wild, Buffalo Sabres, Buffalo Sabres. Now, you may be wondering, how did he get to the Deutschland Elite League in 2012-13? That's because of the lockout.
Yeah.
And so that's how he played for a team in Germany and the Sabres in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
God, the lockout creates some just weird. Yeah. Weird history bits.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't seen an Eric Holla jersey.
He wasn't that popular.
Okay, I was a stan.
I was too.
I was a stan.
Was
he with us when it was? Yeah, he was with us with Stadium Series.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't come over till the expansion draft.
Mm-hmm. Which was 2017.
Or end of the 16-17 season.
Yeah.
So yeah.
For those of you who don't remember, Minnesota had a stadium series that they participated in at TCF Bank when it was still TCF Bank.
Home of the Gophers.
Yes.
At that point, it wasn't the home of the Vikings yet. No, it was the home of the Vikings at the time.
Yeah.
Because the Metrodome had collapsed already.
No, they had... No.
Yeah.
The Metrodome collapsed. They fixed it, and then they tore it down.
They never played in the Metrodome after it collapsed. Or after... They didn't play it again after it collapsed.
No, I'm pretty
It collapsed, and then they just said, all right, we're going to build this new stadium anyway. So just play at TCF for a year. For a year or two, and it'll be fine.
No.
I don't know. I'm only a conversational Vikings fan.
No, you're an actual Vikings fan. You just didn't live here, so you don't know.
I did not live here. That is right. I did not.
Although it was national news.
It was national news. But to take us kind of towards the end of this episode,
it was 2010 when the Metrodome roof collapsed.
I was 9 when the Metrodome roof collapsed. I feel like I was older than that.
Nope. In 2010. Because marking 13 years since the roof collapsed in 2023.
I was 9 years old when that happened. Wow. Yeah. Okay, I didn't need that.
You're welcome.
All right, on tap.
You're welcome for that existential crisis that I just created.
Anyway, on tap tonight in the NHL for the evening of Sunday, October 13th. For those of you not watching the barn burner of a football game, that is the New York Giants and the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday Night Football.
The Wild are playing again.
The Wild are playing again against the Winnipeg Jets, who are 2-0.
I hope we win this.
The 2-0 Golden Knights take on the 1-0 Anaheim Ducks on the back end of a Ducks back-to-back.
You guys better win that.
Fingers crossed. You never know. The Seattle Kraken play again tonight in Dallas.
They're going to get their asses whooped, and I'm going to be so happy.
Against the D-Stars. And Jesus McHockey and the Edmonton Oilers. 0-2 Edmonton Oilers kick off the first Battle of Alberta of the year against the 2-0 Calgary Flames.
I really hope... Honestly, I kind of hope that Calgary is the dark horse.
I don't want them to be.
They are.
I don't want them to be, but at the same time, what happened last year when the Oilers got off to such a bad start?
They fired their coach.
They fired their coach, and then they went well. The thing is, they fired the coach and hired the coach who McDavid had as his coach in juniors. I wonder if this coach doesn't work out and they have to fire him mid-year, if they're going to go get McDavid's Pee-wee coach or something. They brought in his coach from juniors to make him feel better, and they brought in his favorite teammate from juniors to make him feel better. So
does Connor McDavid just now own?
His agent is the president of hockey operations for the Oilers.
So he just owns the Oilers. He
pretty much owns the Oilers at this point. God. And he's going to get whatever he asks for when he talks about his contract extension next summer. He could literally say, I want all of Edmonton. And they'd be like, all right, Connor, sure, we'll get that for you. We'll make you the mayor. You want to be president of Canada? All right, that's fine.
I'm curious about something.
What?
Hold on, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Okay. So, does Connor McDavid just basically own the Oilers now?
Essentially, yeah.
Why are they bending upside down to give him everything he wants?
He's the superstar. It's what you do.
That seems stupid.
It's just what you do. You make your superstars happy.
No, I understand making them happy, but I wouldn't give him everything.
I wouldn't either, but
that just seems meh.
Yeah, it's not great, but
you good over there?
Oh crap.
What?
Samsonov is going to play tonight for Vegas. Season's over. We're going to go 2-80. We're off to a great start. But Sammy's... No, I want him to do well.
Stop going all doom and gloom.
No, I think he'll do fine.
You goof.
I'm curious how he's going to do outside of the Canadian market. Because I could not imagine the pressure of playing in Toronto for that long and being in such a visible position as goalie. I mean, if the Minnesota writers were saying it's time to throw Fleury under the bus after last night, I could not imagine how bad it would be in Toronto. At all. I could not imagine that.
Well, and the whole thing about goalies and Fleury and everything is that it's a really tough position.
Right.
Because you're blamed for most of the things that go wrong.
But you don't get credited when things go right.
No, because you're in the net.
It's a very thankless job.
It is. Like, you're in the net. And if your defenders don't do a good job, it's on you if the goal goes in. Even though you could have not done anything about it, or your defenders hung you out to dry.
True.
You can't score any goals.
No, well,
because you're in the net.
Unless your name is Linus Allmark or Tristan Jarry.
Rare circumstances, empty netters.
About once every year and a half, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that goalies are just kind of thankless. It's a thankless job.
Yeah, but we get to look the best while doing it.
No, I stand goalies.
We get to look the coolest while doing it.
Why do you think I'm learning to play goalie? I stand goalies. I love goalies. It's just one of those things that...
That's going to be a really fun mini-series if you ever wanted to make that public. Aaron, learning to play goalie. What could possibly go wrong?
Everything.
Well, you've been out there once and you got upset because I'm not the best shooter in the world and I'm just rifling pucks at your head.
Okay, it's because it's fine if it's accidental every once in a while. But
I was trying to hit you in the chest. The problem is I'm used to shooting at goalies who are 6 feet tall or taller. You are not 6 feet tall or taller, so your head is right where normal people's chests are.
Well, then maybe aim for someone's dick and you'd hit me in the chest.
It's hard to hit low. I'm trying, okay? I have concrete hands. I'm a goalie by training, too. I'm not a forward.
I never said that you had to flame pucks at me that hard.
Wasn't trying to. I'm sorry. That'll be fine. The quest continues tomorrow, doesn't it?
Oh, fuck. It is tomorrow.
It is tomorrow, yes. It'll be fun, though. It'll be fun.
My calendar's filling up, y'all.
It'll be fun. Trust, it'll be fun.
Well, we'll see if other people join us.
God, I hope so. I don't know. The season is in full swing. The biggest the biggest story, I still think, and I'm watching it with great interest, is the Utah Hockey Club getting off to such a good start. I'm not surprised by it.
I'm not surprised at all.
I think it's too early to call right now. We'll see if they go through if they get through their first 8 games or first 10 games 8-2, then I think we can call them a player in the Central Division. But we also have to remember that this is the Arizona Coyotes.
The Central Division is hard, man.
Central Division's rough. Except, Nashville got shut out, and they're supposed to win the Stanley Cup this year.
Yeah, I'm not. Didn't they lose last night again?
Yeah, they lost 3-0 to the Red Wings. Red Wings. Yeah.
Talbot must be having a time over there.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys would like him back right now.
I think our goalies are doing fine.
Hey, it was Fleury and Jesper Wallstedt last night. Gus got the night off.
Everyone's like, we should have put in the younger goalie. No, I don't think it would have helped.
It wouldn't have made a difference.
Nothing would have made a difference.
Wallstedt has a win in the NHL right now.
Again. After those 2 things that happened, because that was the second period, right?
Yeah.
Like middle of the second. If those 2 things didn't happen, it could have been a completely different game.
Correct.
And that's just what I'm holding on to as a Wild fan. Because for all intents and purposes, besides our minor mistakes, because every team's going to make minor mistakes, I would say that our guys played their hearts out last night for the most part.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Also, I think Trenton was a very good pick.
He hasn't done anything right yet. He just hasn't done anything wrong.
See, that's what you say, but I have a soft spot.
I believe it.
I like the players that go out there and leave everything on the table, even if they don't get a goal.
Right.
And I think that we need more people like that.
I agree with that.
And he had one fuck up, and he recovered pretty nicely from it.
That is true. That is very true.
Same cannot be said for Kaprizov.
No. I'll let you save your Kaprizov rant for the next one.
No. I will, because people are going to come at me for this. I don't think Kaprizov is God's gift to man or God's gift to hockey. I think that he is a good player.
No, that's McDavid.
I think he's a good player. I think that he does the things he needs to do. I think his stats are really great. But sometimes he just doesn't have that much get up and go to him.
Yeah. He got a goal the other night, and it was a good one.
Yeah, but if you notice, he kind of just lollygags until he realizes that he might have a chance to score.
Yeah, he doesn't really motor around the zone very much.
And that's why when people are like, oh my God, Krill's so great. I'm like,
Krill, yeah.
I'm like, that's not the only player in the wild. He can't do this alone. If you put him on the ice, he's going to get beat up at some point.
Right.
So I think just taking that with a grain of salt, that even the best players aren't always going to be the best.
Yeah.
And I'll leave that at that.
That's a good place to leave it.
Yeah.
I think we can put a bow on this episode.
Well, if you want to subscribe to more of my rants,
there will be more of them as the Wilds are fighting for playoff relevance in the Central.
Relevance? Playoff spot. I think we're relevant.
That's what I mean by relevance.
Okay, because I'm like, we're relevant. I just think that spot-wise.
No, I think it's going to be a fun... Now that the regular season's underway, I think it's going to be a really good time for the next little bit.
I'll try not to get on another soapbox next episode.
But it was fun. It was fun. I only wish that I had a microphone on me last night leaving XO Energy. Oh, by the way, public service announcement to those 3 jackasses who decided to try and make me look bad in front of XO. So, context. I wore my gray Golden Knights practice jersey with Marc-Andre Fleury on the back. We're walking out of XO Energy last night. We had to go across the Skyway to the River Center side of the street. If you are I don't even know how to describe
20-something frat boy,
late teens, early 20s, Edina looking frat boy guy who decided to go, oh, look, a Knights fan, and then make a lunge at me. One, you might want to pick and choose your victims better next time because you just committed the textbook definition of a tort battery and a tort assault.
Just assault, not battery.
You could even argue with the battery because it doesn't have to be a real contact. It just has to be harmful or offensive.
Oh, yeah. Harmful or offensive in your direction.
That
counts as battery.
So, one, maybe want to pick and choose your battles because if I didn't know any better, I could walk down to the courthouse right now and get some damages. I'd like some new goalie gear, but I'm not going to do it. And 2, why?
Also, even the people behind us are like, what the fuck was the point of that, bro?
What was the point of that?
Like, even the people behind us were like, what was the fucking
point? And 3, I could have dropped you and nobody would have blinked.
Well, also, because I think the people behind us were also talking about whether or not if you punched the guy.
I totally could have too. Like 100% I could have.
Let's put it this way.
But I could have.
If you would have punched him, you could have made the argument that you're fearful for your life and you were acting in self-defense and the charges would have been dropped and he would have gotten nothing.
It would have been fine.
And then you would have sued his ass.
It would have been fun. But just things that happened on the way out of XO Energy after a controversial wild loss. So
the calendars are cool.
Yeah, the calendars are cool. If you're wearing an out-of-town jersey, be careful.
No, if you're deciding that you are a home team going to mess with someone with an out of like not a home jersey, just don't. Be kind to people.
No, that I will say.
Like, be respectful when you're in other people's stadiums, but be kind to those
people.
No,
what I will say, and this is like to put a bow on it, Minnesota Wild fans are generally across the board really nice. They're generally really, really, really chill about it.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when I'm wearing that Fleury jersey, because nobody cares.
I mean, you get some funny looks when you get a nice jersey, but then there's also like a nice jersey.
It's it's like the kind of reaction. So that's fine. But why do kids like that last night have to ruin it for everybody else?
Because they're jackasses, that's why.
They are total jackasses.
So, long story short of our outro, don't be a jackass.
Don't be a jackass to opposing fans. Don't be a jackass to somebody who bought a ticket.
Don't be a jackass to home fans either
Also,
if you're people that are visiting.
Just don't be a jackass in general because you never know. Somebody might be smart enough to sue you into the ground.
We also all love hockey here, so...
Anyway, thank you guys for listening. If you made it this far and got to the jackass story, you are better than everybody else because it's probably the best story of this entire podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe if you really enjoyed it so you never miss an episode. As you can see, we picked up the uploading frequency recently, and it's only going to get better throughout the regular season.
Thank God.
This is a ton of fun to do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Don't hold me responsible for anything I said on this podcast.